2 days after a Bangladeshi origin man tried to detonate a bomb near a bus terminal in New York City, WION spoke exclusively to the accused Akayed Ullah's wife, who said she spoke to her husband on the morning of that incident. What she said is it was a normal conversation in which her husband told her he was getting ready to go for work. Listen in to what she said.
আমি ফোন দেই কাজে যাওয়ার জন্য উঠাই তারপরে তো উঠে তারপর বলে যে ঠিক আছে রেডি হইতেছি এই তো কাজে যাব ইনশাআল্লাহ এটা বলে উঠে যায় রেডি হওয়ার জন্য রেডি হয়ে চলে যায় তারপর আর আমার সাথে কথা সব সময় যেরকম কথা এরকম
That was the wife of 27-year-old Bangladeshi immigrant Akayed Ullah, who is accused of blowing up a crude device strapped on his body in an underpass at Manhattan's Port Authority bus terminal, one of the busiest in the United States. During Russia, he now faces terror charges. Akayed Ullah immigrated to the United States in 2011 from the Chittagong area of Bangladesh. The Bangladeshi government says he had no criminal record in the country, which he last visited in September. Let's go straight across now to our Bangladesh Bureau Chief Saad Hamadi, who got for us that exclusive news break. Saad, we have listened in to what the wife of Akayed has mentioned in that exclusive conversation. Bring our viewers more context. In that conversation, she talks about how her husband on the day of that incident told her he was going to leave for work. It was just an ordinary day for him.
Molly, the incident has left the family shattered. I've tried to speak to the wife as well as her mother as well. So all that they have shared is that they are completely surprised and shocked by this incident that took place. They've just had a normal conversation, the wife and Akayed. And in light of their conversation, there was no clue that they could apprehend of such a situation forthcoming, for that matter. I've also tried to gather information about Akayed in general, how he was as a person, and what I've learned from the younger brother of Akayed's wife is that he was a religious person, but then again, there was no apprehension that they could make of him to be a radical or have such radical ideologies or hold within him that could lead to such an incident that he would carry out a terror attack in foreign soil. And what I've gathered from the police over here is that they have also tried to investigate. They have tried to speak to the in-laws of Akayed as well as his relatives here, because Akayed does not have his immediate relatives here. Most of them have left for the US very early, about 6 or 7 years ago. They migrated from Chittagong in the southern part of Bangladesh to Dhaka about in the 70s. And since then, they've been living here. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, they have moved to the US. His father has passed away. He's second among 5 siblings, and that's all that we've known. He left for the US in February 2011 while he was still pursuing his undergraduate degree. So there was no apprehension of him having or holding this kind of a ideology or to be able to carry out this attack.
Saad, we also know very little about the accused Akayed Ullah, who had last visited Bangladesh. It's been several years since he was there, but as you just pointed out, the kind of reactions that his family members have been giving out ever since the news broke of his involvement in that heinous attack. Give our viewers further perspective on how he had no criminal record in the country. What else have the locals or the authorities been sharing, if at all, on that front?
Well, since yesterday, the Counterterrorism and Transnational Crimes Unit has visited the home of his in-laws. They've also gone to his hometown in Chittagong and Chandip area and talked to his relatives who are here, not his immediate ones because they're not in the country. But then again, they have tried to speak to whoever is left in the country of his relatives and his family. And what they've gathered is that he has no criminal record in particular. But what they've also gathered is that he was following this person, Joshimuddin Rahmani, who is part of the Ansarullah Bangla team. But then again, this is something that the counterterrorism unit has shared. And the wife of Akayed has also suggested that Akayed has occasionally told her to go through his preachings and literatures. But then again, there was never any talk or discussion of him to suggest that he will hold any radical ideology to lead to a terror attack or to hold such mentality.
Saad, just hold that thought. I'll just come back to you. Why don't we take a listen in once again to what the wife of the accused, Akayed Ullah, has shared with us in that exclusive conversation. Take a listen in once again.
আমি ফোন দেই কাজে যাওয়ার জন্য উঠাই, তারপরে তো উঠে তারপর বলে যে ঠিক আছে রেডি হইতেছি, এই তো কাজে যাবো ইনশাল্লাহ, এটা বলে উঠে যায় রেডি হওয়ার জন্য, রেডি হয়ে চলে যায়। তারপর আর আমার সাথে কথা হয়, সবসময় যেরকম কথা হয় এরকম।
Saad, the wife who we just listened to, who's narrating that conversation, the last conversation that she had with her husband, who is now an accused in the New York explosion case. The wife, the father-in-law, and an uncle of the accused have been interrogated so far. What more do we have on that front?
The counter-terrorist unit has shared that they have not gathered any evidence of him having any criminal record or anything that would link him to any of the local terrorist outfits such as the Jamaatul Mujahideen or Ansarullah Bangla team or Ansar al-Islam. None of these outfits come in his record or have any affiliation that would show that Akayed could have any of this kind of mentality or idea to carry out such an attack. But having said that, this attack has taken place. It has tarnished the image of Bangladesh. The law enforcers have said that they are doing everything in their hands to investigate the Akayed and his background, and they will be assisting the federal agencies in the U.S. if they require any information from this end. But at this point in time, the U.S. agencies have not contacted the authorities in Bangladesh, but they are prepared. That's what they said.
Saad, do we look at further rounds of interrogation of Akayed's family? Are they still continuously being interrogated by the authorities?
Moniul Islam, the chief of the counter-terrorist unit in Bangladesh, has said that they are under constant surveillance and they will not be allowed to move out of their home without the permission of the authorities at this point in time, given that the investigation is still going on, the questioning is still going on. So yes, there is possibility of more interrogation in the coming days until they have come to a conclusion with this particular case in point. So there are possibility of that happening, and at this point in time, they're watching and very closely watching into Akayed's family members who are in Dhaka and Chittagong.